Welcome, everyone. So yes, there's Nordic countries, there's Abu Dhabi, there's Sexy Ladies and a global agency, and there's us, which are now coming to... So me, I'm little Christoph. I used to do kids broadcasting in Europe. Now I'm a writer, a consultant, and a farmer. And here are the lovely colleagues. Next to me is Paula, Eric, Caroline, and Adina. All present what they're doing now with their channels. And because, I mean, we have like 3 lovely ladies and 1 little guy. We'll start with the little guy because he's the new kid in the block. So to wake everyone up, so welcome Eric from DreamWorks. Who'll tell us why is he as a broadcaster? I mean, you know since December that now there's DreamWorks TV coming. So Eric, welcome and thanks for being here. And tell us a little bit about your TV plans.
Is this working?
Yeah.
Here, you can hear me. I think maybe we'll start with a reel.
Yes, that's a very good idea.
Will tell the story far better than I can. What's interesting, just to set the context of this, is that 2 years ago, DreamWorks really was not in the television business. And with the acquisition of Classic Media and...
That you founded?
Yeah. And
so you're a rich man now?
If I were, I wouldn't be here.
All right, okay.
And
right,
really
with things, right? No, we love what we do, darling. That's
exactly.
what it is.
It's all for the love. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
But I think you'll see in this really the most remarkable ramp up in television, and it's exciting, it's interesting, and I think that's why we're here. So let's have a look at this.
So let's watch it. Yes.
Yep.
#1 producer of animated movies is also a global leader in animated television.
This is it, the mission we've been preparing for our entire lives.
With beloved characters.
Hi!
Engaging universes.
You really need to see this.
And unforgettable adventures.
I did not see that coming.
Circus, Afro, circus, Afro, circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
Really? Now, DreamWorks Animation presents the best of kids' TV in one place. The DreamWorks Channel. Over 1,200 all-new episodes of the world's best-known animated titles and preschool favorites across every platform. And we're just getting started. Bringing audiences more original content every year than any other kids' channel. This is action. This is laughter. This is wonder. This is DreamWorks TV everywhere. Premiering in Asia 2015.
더욱더 끈끈한 가족이 되는 거지.
이게 됐다대.
謝謝。咁就係㗎嘛。嗱，我哋睇啦，蘇文嚟啦，你哋啦。
This is the DreamWorks Channel.
So the channel that you've just seen and all of the shows is really directed at Asia primarily. And so not only have we catapulted quickly into the television business, but now we're going to the channel business, and which is really interesting and different for us.
Yeah. So you're launching second half of 2015?
Yes, and so we have a soft launch that will come in June, and then a full launch of the channel in multiple languages in September.
In 19 countries? So there's a main focus, right? There's
Yes.
some main, like little countries like China?
Yeah, do you know what? We don't have a plan as yet in China,
okay.
but it's primarily focused in the rest of Southeast Asia. And that said, in the rest of the world, we really are partnered with free-to-air telecasters and pay television. So this is an initiative really directed to a single feed across that territory.
And your main partner, if I remember well, you work together with HBO?
That's correct. So we're working with HBO in affiliate sales and marketing across the region, as well as their technical operations center in Singapore.
And so it's mostly free-to-air. So that's what you hope, or no, it's kind of a pay TV?
It's really a mix, because I think one of the things that's emergent, and I'm sure many of the people in this room have found, is that it's about all rights. And so we're generally finding partners in the territory and affiliates who have free-to-air, pay television, second screen, OTT services, et cetera. And so what we're really finding is that though we are the youngest and the newest launch in the territory, that by having all of these rights, we don't have any of the legacy issues that prevent flexibility in working with telecasters. Because I think that, you know, for the kids' audience, it's really wherever they are, when they want it, and how they want to take the programming. And it can be on a mobile device or conventional linear television. And it really, you know, you have to be poised and be able to serve that audience, whether it's online games, whatever the medium may be. And I think that, you know, as we talk about the channel in the region, and I'm sure Caroline would say the same for her channels, is that it's really only a small part of the engagement, and that really there are so many other ways that this content, famous content, reaches the audience. And in our particular case, through theatrical films, which is the basis of most of our channels. So it's not a film channel, but the content that has been created over the years by DreamWorks is now all becoming TV series.
And it's all starting with your own library, so your own programs. If it does really extremely well, if you overplan like 1 year, you start acquiring programs also maybe for this feed?
Yes, I think that we want to be appropriate to the region, you know, and as a result, we're looking at acquisitions to place on the channel so that it has a local flavor, and you know, we're not trying to be one size suits all. And there's also a part of our company which is quite active in the area of co-productions and original production that isn't destined necessarily for Netflix, which has been a huge driver of the DreamWorks content. So we were producing, I think, 3 shows in France at the moment, as well as in other parts of the world. So it's something that we do and have done even prior to the launch of this channel.
You just mentioned this little player, Netflix, that you are working quite a lot with.
Yes.
So you have, like, you look at the map and you look at like complementary places. Where Netflix is not that big, then you can also like engage easily, in like a bit more easier than with these countries, right?
Exactly. Although even in the places that Netflix exists, it's I think that it's evolving, but I think we think about it in some places almost as pay television, and so it's a first window, and then we end up on free-to-air television with much larger audiences, because I think the service is just establishing itself in many parts of the world. So it's an exciting development because they've been just a huge driver of production and in you know, in bringing things to audiences that they've never seen before. So we love the relationship with them, but it's actually enabled things in part like the Asia channel that we're launching.
And to also be clear for all the so these countries, you still will also sell some of your programs and work together with, like, little Chloe is not out of a job, right? So you can still work with Asia.
She's never out of a job. We all work for Chloe.
Hi, little Chloe.
Hi, Chloe. I'm little Eric, so now you're little Chloe.
Well, we're all fabulous, but especially Chloe. Well, you too. So yes, you still will sales. You do sales also in Asia.
Yes.
And so Asia, in 1 year time, because of this fantastic programming, is really successful. Do you look at other continents, other countries?
I mean, potentially. I think that this, for us, is sort of a first effort. And I think that one of the things that's been interesting about building this channel is also all of the other assets that we're creating that go along with the channel. So all of the things on the second screen and the websites and gaming. So we're building it from the ground up. And I think that we'll just sort of see how that goes. But I think that we're interested in the idea of, whether this can exist in other markets, how this can be customized. And, for those of you who follow the channel business, what's interesting is that even the technology is such that you can have a channel in a box. So it may not even be dependent on, the satellite transmission of a channel on a pan-regional basis, but that literally you deliver the assets in a particular market and the affiliate can build their own channel.
Yeah, so and again, it's one feed, multilingual.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a room full of love and cooperation and co-productions, but also competitors. So who do you think then, with that channel, will be your main competitors in this area?
It's a really interesting question because we will, in all likelihood, live in the same ecosystem as our friends at Nickelodeon and Disney and Cartoon. But I think the thing that we're finding is that it's very driven by the content and the specific shows. And though we'll have this channel because so much viewing is happening in a non-linear way, that the audience is finding content that they love irrespective of where it comes from. So I think it's just great content is our competition. And I don't know that it necessarily aligns itself in any particular channel. I think that the channel provides a way of promoting and discovery for audiences and a reliable place to go that parents feel that their kids can be in a safe environment. But by the same token, it's really just great content is the competition. So that's the best kind of competition.
Good. So we'll talk also to other people. But if you have questions in the room, we have like an hour altogether, and I have my limited brain with my limited questions. So if you really have better questions than me, don't hesitate. I see you. Or any question from the panelists to Eric already? Because we'll have a discussion at the end, but I think it's going to be fabulous. And,
Thank you.
I don't know if like the other countries should be scared of you expanding to have more competition, but usually competition is good for the business, right? That's what everyone says, unless they get completely killed by it. But
yeah,
that happens.
These are all my friends. So.
Yes.
And we're
yes.
Today, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I have to watch my back.
Do you think do you anticipate anyone else thinking, oh, why shouldn't we do that? I mean, is it like?
I think that it's about an aggregation though of content, and that represents a specific thing. And I mean, we admire greatly, as an example, what Cartoon does in Asia, and
yeah, Adina, we love you.
No, it's incredibly successful, and it's really something to follow. And they've been, really remarkable in engagement on second screens and in the way that they've used the content. They have some of our content, in fact. But I think that the ones that succeed actually stand for something, so that it's not just a mishmash. It's not just, content for content's sake. And I don't know that it's about volume. It's about quality.
Yeah, strong brand, strong identity, strong soul. So what the DreamWorks, what would be the few words? DreamWorks TV is?
I think there's, like our movies, there's an irreverence about the content. I think that also like our films, the appeal isn't just kids. I think it's all audience appeal. We know, for example, with How to Train Your Dragon, our series that we actually produced first for Cartoon, and we're producing an additional 52 half hours for Netflix now directly, so we'll have over 100 episodes of How to Train Your Dragon, that the telecasters are programming that for families as much as they are for kids. And it's really amazing to us to watch. We've learned from them in the way that they don't just put that on in kids' prime. They'll run that in sort of family fringe viewing, like movies. They'll run back-to-back episodes. So I think that's part of the sort of co-viewing experience, because though we have preschool and a lot of very find preschool content. I think that the DreamWorks content is defined by this kind of all-family viewing experience.
But preschool is also good for co-viewing and parents and everything.
Yes.
So there was a quick question. If you shout your name and... Oh, there's a mic coming to you.
Yes, Quentin George, F3 Productions, Brisbane. Your pay-to-air, if I'm hearing you correctly, your driver is free-to-air broadcasting, correct?
Mostly free TV.
We're talking about for the channel in the region?
For the channel,
It depends on the territory. It's a mix, really, of paid television.
Is Australia part of Asia for you?
Actually, we are premiering our Netflix content on Netflix in Australia.
I see. With other countries, how do you generate awareness of your product, of your channel?
Generate what? Sorry.
Say again?
How do you generate awareness of your channel?
Awareness.
By spending marketing money, by working with our affiliates in promos that run on other channels, through our theatrical motion pictures. I mean, we're really lucky in having this advantage of big movie franchises, so that we're making All Hail King Julian, which is our new series out of the Madagascar films, and Puss in Boots as an example. So the awareness is often created by the theatrical films and their successes in the region. And so I think that we start with a level of audience awareness around those characters and around the content, its pre-existing content. And it's a strategy that we're pursuing which is slightly different than other channels. I can't say better or worse, but at least we come to the market with a very, very high level of awareness. And then I think the affiliates really do a very good job of marketing to their customers and including us in a bouquet of channels that will include other kids' channels.
Good, so good luck in the TV game, Eric.
Thank you.
We'll watch, we'll help, we'll fight, and we'll have fun. So, thank you very much, Eric. Welcome, Paula, who is heading Gloob, which started 3 years ago. It's already ranking very well. So welcome, Paula. Thank you for coming all the way from Rio. Yay! And so should we, so how do you want to start? Do you want to start us to see the clip or to talk a little bit first about Gloob?
I will talk a little bit first about Gloob,
cool.
And then we'll see the clip at the end. So as Christophe just said, we were launched 3 years ago in June 2012. And he mentioned that Eric was the new kid on the block, but in Brazil we are the new kid on the block. So I'm going to give you a little bit a view of the Latin America pay TV penetration. So even though Argentina has a great penetration and Brazil still only 30% of penetration, we do have huge potential. So it's 61 million viewers, our potential within the pay TV scenario. In Gloob, we have 70% of Brazilian penetration on pay TV, so we can talk with almost 42 million people, which is a great number. And the scenario, the kids market in Brazil, we have 13 children's channels, but we do compete also with family channels and films channels, and also some channels for adults, like they do have Simpsons, and they are huge. So we are competing a lot with them. But within this landscape, 25% of it is children's. So it's a lot. We have a huge potential. And within this scenario, Gloob has been growing very fast. So we started among children. We were at the 25th position, and we're now on the top 5. So it's a lot. We have a yearly growth rate of 63%. So it's good. Yeah, we're doing well. Those are our brands, and the Global Sites acquisition team, they managed to make some great deals. So we have brands that are known by the parents, and also some that are known by the kids, such as Angry Birds, and we're doing quite well with them. But we differentiate ourselves with the Brazilian production. So we do a lot of original content. So on our top 10 programs, 6 of them are Brazilian. So that's what we are focusing on. So we want to differentiate ourselves by bringing children to recognize themselves within Gloop. So this is important. So our on-air look, we have children mixing with our logo. So that's the way we think we're gonna achieve best results. So it's by having Brazilian content. So we're producing a lot of live action shows and also animated shows. So right now we have 9 live actions in development and 10 animations into development. And as we are competing with big guys, and they are in the market for 20 years or so, we want to do some co-productions. We thought by doing the co-productions we could get on board earlier than the other channels, so we could guarantee some great productions for Brazil. So international and also the local productions. So Paperport, it's a production that it's from Chile, and then Argentina got on board, and also Colombia. So and Milimage is distributing it worldwide. And Lagardere, it's another one that has Canada and France and some other important partners. So we got on board. We think it's going to be a great content.
So that's co-production.
That's co-production, international co-production. And this is the way we've been dealing with the 360 strategy. So every time we have a content, we produce apps. So now we have more than 15 apps and a lot of downloads. And the VOD, last year we won a prize for the VOD platform in Brazil, which is called Now, because we had one of our productions, which is called Blue Building Detective. It's the most seen program now in this platform, so it is quite important for us. And we also produce a lot of games. So every time we produce a local content, we produce online games, apps, and also when we acquire the show, we try to get the games from its original. And this is something that we do that we think it's different too, because the whole idea with the live action and animated shows is that we try to, in order to do the 360 strategy, for the live action shows, we do an identity, a digital identity for each character and the scenarios, so we can transfer this drawing to the apps and games. So we have the live action shows and the
drone avatar.
The drone avatar, yes.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
So I'll show you one of our clips. So about Boo, it's the new production that we just finished the last episode last Friday. The audience was amazing. Thanks. Thank God. So I'll share with you a little bit.
Eu vou fazer o que você devia fazer também, ajudar o nosso avô. E é isso que uma família faz quando alguém precisa de ajuda.
That looks very exciting. So this is a commission show? Or co-production, a commission? No, that's your show.
It's our show. Okay, so actually, independent production house. Yeah. They showed us they offered us the project, and then we bought it all.
So you can go up to like a complete finance of a show.
Yes.
And then co-production, a certain level of the budget for co-production, for international co-productions.
It really depends. We can finance the whole show, and it does depend.
Brazilian shows mostly, right?
Brazilian shows and international co-productions. It depends, but we can invest quite a bit of money.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Latin America is a booming creative place right now. So I guess you surf on that. I mean, you help the local creators from Brazil and around to further be part of that. Is there some like kids telenovelas also on your channel?
Yes, we have one telenovela. It's called Gabi Star. It's done extremely well. We were Emmy nominee with that. So we are producing the 3rd season, and the audience is amazing. So that's why we keep producing it. And I think which is good in Brazil is that we have the creativity in Brazil is very huge, and the independent producers in Brazil are very good. So we've been working together for quite a long time, and they have great ideas. So when we get on board in a project, the whole idea is to we work together. So we change all the scripts, we approve every single drawing. So I usually say that we're very very picky. Can I say this? Mm-hmm. Because we want to make it a better show. Okay. So we're always trying to improve the scripts and everything.
And so your main competitors is in the environment. So it's the big 3 Americans.
Big 3 Americans.
There's the local public channel somewhere for kids.
There is, but actually the biggest ones are the American ones.
Your lovely friends.
Lovely friends. So they are the biggest ones, and also our competitors, the films channel, and also the series channels for children, but not really. They're not focused on children, but they have a lot of children's shows.
Okay. Any question for Paula now? No. I hope we don't wake you up. Cool. And so thank you very much. It's a very good presentation, a very good channel, and I wish you further big success to be top 4, top 3, top 1, maybe one day. Thank you, Paula. And because we talk about you, lovely international Adina, Woman of the World.
Woman of the. I don't have a presentation, so I'm going to act out every show that we were going to talk about.
So let's start with Adventure Time. Or what is your interpretation of that?
How much time do we have?
No, but
you could be Finn. I'll be Jake.
No, but no, we know some of your shows. They somehow travel well, and you do really well. So basically, you're really doing well. You're in the USA in the big 3 group. You're like doing like up and up and up, thanks to own IPs that have been developed lately and some acquisitions. So maybe looking at what the main drivers are.
I wish I could share with everyone, what that secret sauce is.
So first of all, we say welcome to Adina because we love her. Yay, Adina!
You.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chloe. Yeah. I wish I could tell you what that magic is. If I did, I wouldn't be here. We would all.
But the main driver, the locomotives of the big IPs, the big IPs, your biggest IPs right now.
No, but seriously, there's been a content strategy that took several years to formulate. And first you had to identify what that strategy was, then you had to identify the right properties to execute, and then you had to execute, and now we have to build and sustain. I mean, there's definitely, it's an infinite, it's almost like being on a hamster on a wheel. You're just constantly going around and around. But the reality is that I think there's always, there's a lot of strategy, a little bit of luck, and a lot of hard work. There's been a wonderful history at Turner of having a blend of wholly owned IP and co-produced IP or third-party IP. IP, by the way, I just speak in shorthand, intellectual property for anyone who is wondering, what is this IP thing? But we live in a world of IP. And I think right now we're at a point where the original content, so shows like Adventure Time and Regular Show and Gumball and Clarence and Uncle Grandpa, and I could go on, they're doing very well. And it creates a lot of, it's great, but it also means that real estate becomes very tight to introduce new content, not just our own, but also third-party content. But the third-party shows have always, in success, worked very nicely with our originals. And so that's always been good. And we try to complement what we're bringing in from an original standpoint with shows that feel like they're a bit of a departure from what we're making. It's very common that we get pitch shows that are very similar to the shows that we already have. Well, from a third-party standpoint, if we already have it, why would we license it? We want risk-taking, different ideas. So we don't want Adventure Time like. Yeah. We want something different.
So what was the last best example of a good third party that you picked up that does well for you?
I think
which was very complimentary.
Off the top of my head, I have to recognize our relationship with Lego and how their content has really...
The Ninja.
Ninjago was a real breakthrough for us, and it definitely had us thinking about, Cartoon Network was the home of boys action for many years, and this was a real shift in how we looked at boys action because it was a much lighter, comedic way of serving it up. It looked different, and we had to go back and look at our own properties and see what does that mean for boys action going forward. So that was actually a great moment for both companies, I think, and so we're pretty proud of that. And I wrote down a couple of things because I was really interested in everything that was set up here.
You stayed up all night for that, I'm sure.
I did. I thought about this. No, I wrote down notes from what they were saying. And, Eric mentioned something as content is competition. And I think that all of our shows compete with themselves, but we're looking at our ecosystem in a very different way. As you start to try to be where all of your audience is, you have to maximize all those different platforms that you have. And I think that's a common denominator with all of us. And what I mean by that is your VOD strategy, your non-linear strategy is as important today as your linear strategy. And in fact, we are launching our first non-linear series this year. And we're very excited about that. I think it's going to be a real test.
Has it been announced already?
Yeah.
Cool.
It was. I mean,
which one is it?
Mighty Magiswords.
Yeah, cool.
And it's just this generation is there, so we have to be there with them.
So you launch it first online and not on linear. And if it does really extremely well, do you?
That's the $1 million question.
Okay, cool. But you would go further and maybe develop it further and put it on.
I think with any franchise, you try to figure out what those extensions are, but a lot of it is planned, and a lot of it is also paying attention and reacting to what's happening with that brand so that you can then evolve it into something else. We're no longer living in a world as a company where you have the show and then the game and then the this and that. No, it's very much looking at things from a holistic angle from day one.
And as a global player, so how do you see the world today? I mean, it's been a long time was really the three international ones were very US-centric, but then there was an explosion of good opportunities, creativity, money, places to also look at. So what is interesting you? What is doing well? The US, obviously, and...
Well, my remit is predominantly the US, but I work very closely with my counterparts around the world. And it was the same, I would imagine, and still is, at Nickelodeon. I think it's really important when you have a global company to really be aware of what's happening with your footprint around the world, but also identifying common needs. If you can maximize pick something up globally, you can maximize your marketing strategies, your program rollouts, the assets, everything about it becomes better. It's very difficult to do because your footprint is different in every country.
Yeah. Because Gumball did really well worldwide, and it was like mostly European. It was UK, Germany, coproduction.
Came out of the UK.
Yeah, cool. Good, and so you opened, the group is really open.
Absolutely, we're open to, we're here because we are looking to see what are those trends that are happening around the world. You know, so much content that we have licensed over the years did not necessarily originate in the United States. I mean, ideas, great ideas can come from anywhere, and beautiful work, especially, you know, I love the animation that comes out of France in particular. It's a beautiful artists and animators. And I think where networks and people who work on the content side can come into the conversation is to really help educate what works for us. And we can never assume that someone knows what would work on my platform versus your platforms. We have to really collaborate with them early on to help shape that project. But most of the time, visually, people have it down. They have it locked. And I think that the storytelling that people are bringing has just gotten better and better and better. You know, one of the things that's a big challenge for us is that in order to stay relevant, we have to continuously innovate. And innovation, when you have challenged budgets, sometimes a global economy that's, you know, going through all kinds of shifts, can be very challenging. And coming to this kind of an event and hearing what people are up to, you can walk away, take a breath, and then say, wait a minute, there's an idea there that maybe we wouldn't have known if we stayed in our offices, like veal.
Yeah. But looking at the last, I would say, like maybe 3-5 years, there was really a strong refocus on Cartoon Network, on the soul, and really that was really successful, a good payoff, that strategy, right? It's really...
Say that again?
It was a really refocus on the soul of Cartoon Network, really like the home of animation, creative animation, that really worked out well.
I think, you know, being focused, you know, when you're coming from behind, all you can do is look ahead. And it forces people to really do the best work they can.
Yeah.
I think when you start to celebrate success, you can't look over your shoulder and you can't look behind. You have to keep that focus. And I think it becomes harder because I think some people, their inclination is, okay, we're there. Well, we're not really there. We're living in a world where there's more competition than ever.
Eric is also doing it now.
Pardon me, yeah, now we're competitors. Now, everybody's the competition. Kids have a lot of choice. And there's a lot of brands, a lot of great brands. So we're living in a world where we have to invite people in, events, and being relevant and being in every space where our audience is. You know, we have the 6 to 11 target that you referenced before. That's a very difficult age group, especially when you talk about boys, because they're easily distracted, if you will. You know, they have a lot of interests and a lot of, you know, they're watching you, they're playing you, they're consuming you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And we've become so interested now more than ever in researching their behavior and really trying to get in front of it. But it feels like we're living in a time that's moving faster than ever before.
Yeah, but researching boys is a nice activity. I agree.
I was referring to...
So, just joking, darling. Because we are coming to an end, and I wanted to to wake up everyone. Yes, I just wanted to make a quick move on because we have a last 2 minutes, and I wanted to be silly, so I managed. So I managed very well, as usual. And I like people laughing. So last 2 minutes. So if you have questions, yes, there is a matchmaking session just after that. It's Meet the Speakers. Some of you registered, so these wonderful 4 people will meet you. But yes, yeah, try to shout, and maybe the mic coming. Yeah.
Can you act out the question?
I know you. I see you every 6 months. Yes. Yes. You've been part of the last panel of Meet Juniors. Yes.
Hello.
Hey.
It's actually a question for my 8-year-old son.
Quick hello, who are you?
Sorry, I'm Stuart Dredge from The Guardian and MIPTV blog.
Yes.
My 8-year-old son the other day was watching Cartoon Network on TV on his iPad, and he asked me, why isn't Stampy on Cartoon Network? Because Stampy, the Minecraft gamer on YouTube, is his favourite new thing. I don't know if you've seen him. He's the 4th biggest YouTuber.
No, why is it? I guess we haven't licensed it. We haven't.
It's
maybe we should talk about it afterwards.
It's a guy who plays Minecraft on YouTube, and he's like the 4th biggest channel in the world.
That's a guy commenting Minecraft.
Oh,
and so...
So what do you think about YouTubers?
Yeah, and Minecraft and YouTube.
Successful YouTubers.
Well, it definitely there's a new pool of celebrity talent out there of relatively unknown people that has just exploded, and I think we're very excited about. We actually have a dedicated team that's out there looking for talent that exists in the nonlinear world. So how do I feel about YouTube? I think I feel that, as you said, competition is great, and it makes us innovate a little bit faster than perhaps we would have. But no, I'm very excited about exploring that talent. But that actually falls a little bit outside of my remit, and there is a team in Burbank that definitely is focused on identifying talent recruitment for new IP.
Cool. The last question.
First one is for DreamWorks. How much of the talent from the feature projects are actually crossing over to the TV series?
That's a good and interesting question. Our teams are
so the crossing from movies to TV
to television. So our directors, and particularly with series going forward, where it's based off of theatrical films that are in development, they work side by side. So though we have a independent and a separate team dedicated exclusively to television, it's very informed by the theatrical process. And I think unlike some companies, not for better or for worse, there isn't this great divide between theatrical film and television. We sort of view it all as a piece.
Yeah.
And the theatrical films are
yeah.
really the incubator for the television series.
We actually have to finish now. Is it in the second question very clever?
It might be.
Quick, very quick.
Just how would you compare your cost and potential profit with feature and now your new venture in TV series?
So it's a money question.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
To be seen. We're very excited about television. It's gigantic and is really becoming a very dominant area in our company.
So, in the name of all of you, I'll thank them. They've been fabulous. Thank you very much. And I wish you a very, very, very good market, some very creative ideas and some great buys and co-production and everything. See you next year. Bye. Thank you.